Let's go back to the demo.
Let's go
All
back
right.
to the demo. All right, let's hit the mixer, Phil.
Let's hit the mixer. All right. Here we are.
And maybe just increase the size of the window a little bit for this. And this looks pretty unassuming now, but you know, there were two pieces of feedback that we got consistently from Wavelink users. One, you want more submixes. Two is not enough. Um, and the second piece of feedback is you want effectively a routing table, right? That was a recurring theme. Now, what I think we've done here is we've managed to combine both of those requirements into a fairly elegant user interface, and a very intuitive one. So what you have right now is a single mix, your personal mix, and a single channel, which is your Wave 3 microphone. If you wanted to add things to this mix, then Phil is just going to add some channels. You just get a drop down with all your available hardware and software devices
I
that are playing audio.
probably should
Phil has
actually.
literally nothing open to play audio. Great stream preparation here. We won't hold it against him. We'll just give him some time to open some apps. And now these magically appear, right? So now
Or magically
you
disappear.
have killed it. That's not good.
Like I think we'll repeat this a couple times on the stream, but this is a live demo of beta software.
Okay.
So there we
So
go. We're back.
okay, so now Spotify is running into the mix. All right, let's add one more thing.
Let's see.
Maybe
We'll add
yeah, you can add
Discord.
Stream Deck and just if you've got add Discord. Maybe we can add Stream Deck with a soundboard action if you've got any audio that you could put on.
The
There we go.
and
All right, so let's add Stream Deck. That'll be our soundboard. And let's leave it at that for now. Okay, so now we've got these three apps as part of our mix. Now, if you want to add them, they're basically configured now. If you want to add them into your mix, you just click plus wherever you want to add them. So Spotify, we want to have great. Discord, we want to have Stream Deck, we want to have. If you press a button on the Stream Deck now, Phil, then that audio will immediately come into the mix. Okay, so now we've got basically our local mix. This is what Phil would be hearing now. He'd be hearing a mix of music, Discord, Stream Deck, and whatever else he wants to add. Now, let's add a second mix. It's as easy as that. You hit this plus button, boom. Now you've got a second mix. All right. This could be now your stream mix or your chat mix or your recording mix or whatever you want to do. If you want to add any of these apps into the second mix, again, you just hit the plus button. So do we want our mic in the stream mix? Yes. Do we want Spotify? Yes. Discord, maybe we don't, but we do want our soundboard, so plus. Okay, great. So now we've got our stream mix configured. You've also got some nice little details. So maybe for the stream mix, we don't want it to have the icon 2. We want to customize that a little bit. So we can go in there and just take an icon like the Twitch, right? We're live on Twitch. This is what we're going to use for the stream mix. Great. All right. Maybe we need a third mix, right? We need a mix to run actually back into Discord, which is going to only be our microphone and our soundboard. Yep. So called chat. Give it a suitable icon. Add the microphone. Add the soundboard. Okay, there's our third mix. Maybe we need a fourth mix. All right. You see where this is going. And we're going to leave the fourth mix for now, but you can add 5 submixes. As far as I'm aware, there is no other app that can do this, where you can just simply create 5 independent submixes on the fly. Wavelink makes this really, really easy. So create up to 5 mixes. Great. You can add a whole lot of stuff into each mix, right? So we can add another channel, and maybe you put in a capture card, right? So this would be a hardware input. You can add, I believe, up to 4 hardware inputs, and you
Yep.
have 8 virtual inputs. The other thing you can do is you can group channels, right? So if you wanted, yeah, exactly. So if you open up Zoom, then maybe add that in with Discord. So you go in, you add an app, Zoom. Okay. So that's in the same channel as Discord now. That means you're controlling volume for both of these apps. You can see some of the nice subtle animations, right? So you can adjust the volume per mix with the slider, or you could do it across all of the mixes. So you're really adjusting the volume of the channel. So ultimately, what you have here is you have a highly functional routing table. Essentially, what this is to me is a function. It's a routing table that doesn't just show you where audio is going, but gives you complete control over it. So you've got access to volume for everything. You can mute everything right here. You can add and remove channels from mixes super easily. You can change what you're listening to, right? If you want to change from your personal mix to your stream mix to your chat mix to your VOD track, to see, okay, what does this actually sound like? Is this good? Just one click. Um, and of course, there's more, right? So you go on a mix, um, and you can add as many outputs or kind of routing endpoints to this mix as you want. So if you want your mix to go to your headphones and at the same time to a hardware audio output to route it somewhere else, you could do that. You can add as many outputs as you want. I, for example, have 3 audio outputs set up because I've got a setup at the office, a setup at home, and so I have, Wave 3, Wave XLR, and then I have my MacBook speakers, and it kind of figures out, okay, which one is active, and then I get audio output there. If it's not available, it'll go to the next output option, and if neither of my hardware devices are available, just default to playing over the speakers. So, you can automate a lot more than you can in the current Wavelink, which is also really nice. Um, Now you can also add effects to every channel. So you see that little green icon next to Wave 3, that shows you that an effect, a software effect is running there. In this case, we've got the compressor, the EQ, um, and voice focus, but that's not active. Um, Now it is. And you could do that for any channel, right? So if you wanted to, like what was being shown yesterday, add voice focus to a Discord call, um, or a compressor to your Stream Deck, um, then you can do that as well, right? So you can add VSTs or audio units to any channel, right? So in this case, voice focus onto Discord or Zoom. Um, so again, super super flexible, really really powerful, and all in one really simple view. What you see at the top there, that drop down, is what your main listening device is going to be. So this would be, very easy to move between headphones and speakers if you just wanted to toggle that for everything, basically for the where the app is outputting audio to. Um, so yeah, this mixer view, it looks simple in the end, um, but distilling so much audio complexity into what I think is a very simple and intuitive user interface was actually fairly challenging, and I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. Um, there's another couple of tricks that we currently have in the Mac version that aren't in the Windows version yet that are pretty fun, but maybe we can show those later. Um, and maybe this is a good time to pause and stop for some questions and see if there's anything
I
anything
think
you guys want to know more about.
I think right before that, what we may also want to show here is, let's say you've configured all of these mixes, right? So how would you bring these into an application like OBS? So I'm going to go ahead and open OBS, and I mean, there's a multiple different methods, but essentially, it's the same thing as if you were adding a microphone, right? So you could add an audio input capture, and then select the mix here. And the cool thing is these mixes have the same name that you set within Stream Deck, right? So you can see here there's chat, there's the personal mix, there's the stream mix here, there's the VOD track here, right? So for example, if here, I want to add in my stream mix, then boom, there we go. Now that's in there, and that's in OBS, right? It's just that mix too, and it's just everything that I've added into the stream mix and Wavelink.
And what's
So
also
super
nice is we
simple.
will dynamically add and remove these virtual devices from your Windows audio settings. So if you create 5 mixes, but you delete 3 of them, you're not going to be stuck with all these random virtual audio devices anymore. Only the ones that you've actually set up.
Yep. So yeah, it's incredibly simple. It's incredibly intuitive. Um, and given the amount of sources that you guys keep, wanting to add in, the original Wavelink view was nice, but once you started adding things like 9 different inputs into there, it started getting quite wide and quite complicated. So this routing table gives you that really nice, just easy overview of all your levels. And we've paid a lot of attention to little details. If you're adjusting the level, you have this nice little visual representation here immediately of what that level is. And that only shows up when you're moving, when you're moving your mouse and you've clicked it. Once you let go, it goes away. You see your levels right there of your audio coming in. You see it pre-fader, or essentially what the raw audio is. You see it afterwards. You can also change what that view is. I think I showed it earlier, but you can show it as percentages as well if you're into that. So there's lots of little touches here. You can change the icon, you can change the name, basically everything to really customize this to make you more efficient when you're broadcasting, when you're recording, doing a podcast, whatever it might be. All right, I think